Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is February the 3rd, 2025, and we survived another Groundhog Day. Yeah, we did. When I walked in this morning into the shop, this little valve on Stinky was dribbling a little bit. And I tried tightening it, but it don't look like it's going to tighten any more than it already is. So one of these days when the fuel tank runs down a little low, I've got some packing we can put in there and hopefully plug that up a little bit. At least I'm assuming it was Stinky that was leaking. That was wet underneath there on that sediment bulb. But this thing had nearly a full tank of fuel in it when I parked it, and now if you look right there you can see the shadow down quite a ways. Yeah, it's up about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of that tank right there. So it could be this thing has a leak in a tank, but most likely it's just some old wore out rubber hoses that are down underneath there that goes from the tank to the carburetor. Well, for those of you that have been with me for a while, you know what the sound of Stinky sounds like. And yeah, I've got it out and running today, and we're going to try to finish cleaning up some of the mess left behind by the tree trimming crew that came and got the tree off the roof of the house when we had that big windstorm a month or so ago. So let's get with it. For those of you that are new to the channel, this is what we affectionately call Stinky. The reason why we do is because when we got it, the head gasket and head was loose. I'm sure the gasket's blown because we keep getting oil up into the radiator, but there's no antifreeze or water getting into the crankcase. So as long as it's going in the radiator, I'm okay with that. It's because of that blown head gasket, a little bit of oil's burning in the cylinders, especially I think it's number 2 and 3. Anyway, yeah. So we got the blade on the back end of the thing today, and we're going to be pushing those stumps around into the backyard here. The neighbor has said they'd wanted them. We're going to get them moved over to their place in another month or two, and it warms up a little bit more. But today it is in the low 50s. I figured it was a good day to move them, so some of the other folks in the neighborhood won't decide they need them and not say anything. You know what I mean? Oh, got to go under a tree. Anyway, yeah, so Stinky and I are after those and those. Yeah, we're going to try pushing those around today. Back last May, before I went in and had my knees done in June, the doctor told me I needed to eat more roughage and lose some weight. Well, I tell you what, I've eaten so much roughage in the last 6 months or so, 8 months, I'm starting to fart hay bales. Yeah. One thing we're going to have to be careful of out here are some pins stuck in the ground. There's 3 of them. There's one there, one over here at the base of that 2x4, and one right up there on the end of the or the top of that fence deal there. Now there is a 4th one up right off the step when you come off the deck on the back side of the house to walk out towards the garage. We're going to have that subsoiler on Stinky for that as well. See if we can't rip those up out of the ground before I run over them with a tire and pop a tire. Yeah, and if there's any more of them around here, going to have to find out right quick. First thing we're going to try to do though is, I don't know if you can see it, right down there in front of the tractor, there's a great big rock. We're going to try to drag it around into the backyard. Well, unfortunately, I tried to move that rock and those logs, and all of it's still frozen to the ground. Yeah, even though it's in the low 50s today, it's been freezing around here with a lot of fog and moisture and some snow. So, yeah, we'll have to give them another week or so for them to thaw out enough. Maybe I can move all that. In the meantime, though, I'm going to move that one and these three. I'm sure I can knock them loose with the tractor. They've been sitting here in the front yard, and the neighborhood kids have been building building blocks out of them and trying to climb up into that low branch on the tree right there. So I'm going to just push them over towards the edge of the driveway there. I don't know that that'll discourage them from climbing, but you know, I don't want them getting hurt either. So anything I can do to help reduce that, that's the way we're going to do it. Well, that's those 4 logs pulled out of the way a little bit. Yeah, they're at the edge of the driveway, but that's all right. Maybe the neighbors will figure out that it's easier for them to haul it home instead of having it right on the middle of my lawn or something. Even though the ground is sort of frozen, there's a few little low spots over here in front of the group of mailboxes where we all get our mail. And they have shoveled some of the dirt out of the ditch right here that's full of weeds. And, well, it's a concrete ditch, but they still shoveled it out. I'm going to see if I can't knock some of that higher stuff loose there to fill in the holes, maybe smooth that out a little bit. Eventually, I may drag all that dirt down to the corner, and we'll build kind of a berm down there. As you can see, it won't take much to move it from here in front of the tractor and beside me down here to the corner. There's the ditch angles over. We'll put the dirt there between it and the stop sign. I don't have any plans at the minute to put anything there in the way of greenery or growth stuff, whatever, but yeah, that's just where we're going to end up putting it. One thing I'm going to try to do also this spring, when the ground thaws out, is there's a pair of gnarly old tree trunks and roots right here. I'm going to see if I can't pull them out or burn them out. This whole front yard really could use a good leveling and reseeding. Yeah, there's not much in the way of grass out here, so we may end up working a little bit on that this summer as well. Till it up a little bit here and there, kind of scoot it around the dirt and level it and reseed. So the other major thing I got to do is sitting right over there at the base of that first pine tree. There's some irrigation goodies sitting right there, and it looks like I'm going to have to find a pump and an electrical line to run out to a pump to stick in here somewhere to pump my sprinkler water out. According to the nice ladies down at City Hall, I get water for 4 hours on every Friday. I think it was between 5 and 9 or something like that. Anyway, yeah, I get 4 hours worth of water to water the place with. That's not a lot, but better than nothing. And then, of course, I can always use the hydrant on the back side of the house that's tapped into the city water supply and pump that. Don't want to because that's expensive. But anyway, on we roll. Say, what did the full glass say to the empty glass? Any ideas? You look drunk. Oh, before I forget, there is an update on the Super M. Got a call today. They're assembling the motor. In fact, they'd misplaced the camshaft bearings, and I was trying to argue, tell me they didn't have the bearings. I'm like, yeah, you got the bearings because the kid said I hate working on these. So yeah, I know they had them. They called me back later, they'd found them. So I'm hoping, knock on some wood, the Super M might be put back together this week or the first of next. Yeah, so that may end up sitting here in the yard. So yeah, stay tuned. We may have that big old girl back here before we know it. Be ready for another plowing season too. Those of you that have owned a farm and have tried to move know what a pain it is to actually accomplish that, especially when you got to downsize because you're going to an in-town home. And a lot of things end up missing. Well, I'm no exception. So today I've got myself another new toy, and I'd like your input on it, good, bad, or ugly. What I picked up was a Schumacher battery charger because I cannot find mine. This particular one is a automatic sensing of 6 and 12 volt and comes with a maintainer system in it and that sort of thing. Now the battery charger I used to have at the farm had a little switch on it, would automatically go from 6 to 12 volt. And it was only like a 2 amp charger, so it was basically a trickle charger or maintainer type thing. This one is supposed to work on sulfided batteries, I think, and help clean up the sulfites in the battery. Of course, one of the ingredients in battery acid is sulfur, but yeah, I got a nice 6-foot cord on both ends for both the plug-in and the ones to hook to the battery. Nice metal case, just a real simple on and off. So yeah, like I said, let me know if you've had any experiences with these. It was either that or getting something from Harbor Freight Tools. Ugh. The old battery charger that I had at the farm was still working, but that puppy had to be at least 50, maybe even 60 years old. It was an old gray Sears Craftsman. The screen on the front of it where the needle was, it showed you how many amps was going into the battery. It was yellow and hazed, and not sure that that little needle thing was even working quite right anymore. It did show a charge, but whether or not it was showing the full amount going into the battery or not, couldn't tell you. So yeah, it got misplaced in the move, so time for a new one. As always, thank you to all of you for watching through to the end. Helps with the algorithms from YouTube and whatnot. And thank you to the new subscribers we've got. We picked up a few more in the last week or so. And eventually we're going to break the 1,000 subscriber mark. So it's taken a while, so I must not be doing something quite right, but hopefully you enjoy what is coming out in content. We're going to do a little bit about an antique Edison phonograph player too here before too long. I've been trying to gather up parts that have misplaced or got misplaced during the move to the new house. So as soon as we get all that gathered up, we'll be doing a little video on that, including that anyway, coming up shortly. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Thank you to the new subscribers, and thank you for those of you that have been watching for quite a while. And hope you keep on doing so. Don't forget to share and like and comment and tell your friends about the channel. Anyway, we'll see you later, and y'all have a good one. Bye-bye for now.